All right, going to get Mrs. Ryan for the show. Mrs. Ryan, are you almost ready?
I am almost ready.
Gosh, it's nice and bright in here. Thank God for skylights. Almost ready. Shall we?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Eddie. See you in a sec. Where are you, Mrs. Ryan? There you are.
I'm right here.
Hello. So, have a seat.
Okie doke.
There's producer Kate. Hi, Kate.
Have fun in France.
She is. She went to Cannes.
Cannes.
That's right. You ready?
Yeah, I can't wait.
I think we should start this thing.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna come over and push the button. Is the spelling correct? Yeah, all right. Mrs. Ryan, hello.
Hello.
Anything different?
Well, yeah. Everything's different.
Hello, hello, how are you?
Hello. So much closer to you.
This is very interesting as I look up on the monitor. How does it feel?
It feels like a different kind of show.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Are you ready to do it?
I'm ready to do it.
All right. Well, we have got a great guest today. Eddy Sato is how you pronounce it, correct? All right. He'll be in just one second. But I kind of wanted to just take a moment. First of all, hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Let's start with that. Hello. Today is Wednesday, May 16th, 2018. We do have a guest today, Eddy Sato. And for us, it's our first show in the new set. How does it feel?
It feels nice.
Are you okay? What's going on?
My eye line's off because it keep catching the light.
What?
The microphone.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, about the
my
new
eye line.
set, there are two things. One, we're not quite done. That's the first thing.
Right.
So this is more of a shakedown show we're doing today. Thanks for Eddy Sato for being here and willing to be here for a show where we're kind of working out the kinks.
Thanks, dude.
We wanted to basically bring everybody into that process. Normally we would kind of take a couple days and do a bunch of fake ones of these to kind of get
Front load and...
Yeah. Well, no, just to get it going.
Oh, right.
To make sure all the wires work, make sure there isn't a buzz in your microphone and all that stuff in your headphones. And in the mix of all the confusion, so, all right, well, what I wanted to, we're going out of order here, but it's okay. This is why we do those production meetings, Mrs. Ryan. Somebody medicated before the show?
I'm the worst.
No, not at all. I'm just checking in where,
Yes, I did.
so I know how to focus my attention on you.
Yes, I'm focused.
Good. You've not been having a good couple days, so I'm glad.
Thanks.
All right, the microphone we'll get to, but I want to talk about the Letterman show we did the other day in the living room, because that was an emotional thing. It was an emotional thing for me, having come full circle with all of this stuff, having, done that and been like such an obsessee in high school, etc. How was it for you?
It was interesting, the response I got. People that didn't know anything about what I was up to and whatever were like, oh, that's real. Like, that's, oh, you're still real. Like, you're still doing comedy shit. Like, you didn't totally disappear. So that was pretty neat. But
Did that feel good?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a nice reminder that, like, I'm actually not dead. So, sorry. I
awesome.
won't bring it down.
No, this is all wonderful. I think there is still a little bit of something going on here because, first of all, this is different for us. Seating wise, our chairs are almost in the exact same positions that they were in the other in this space before, believe it or not. But for some reason, between now we're doing a television show with all the cameras on one side, to there is a bit of broadcast history and whatever else going on here that's pretty cool.
I keep touching it and I'm like, hi, you were here when.
If anybody gets to be a guest, you'll see it's not that nice in person. It's beat up, it's old, it wasn't, it's a prop to begin with, so it's not like fine furniture, fine craftsmanship. But what it carries with it, I think, is far more significant. All right, so one thing is that the studio is not quite done. Second thing, after doing the Letterman show in the living room, basically we moved the entire set in that night, right? because it was an empty space. And then the next day was all tech stuff. So it was literally lighting and sound and rewiring everything and cameras and the whole bit.
You spent so much time doing all that stuff. I just want, for the record, to be like, it's not easy. I know I make it look and sound simple sometimes, but it's not.
Well, but what I'm getting at is the keen eye may notice that while this is, I'm a Letterman guy and this is the Letterman set, this is not right. This is not accurate. So this microphone is wrong. The microphone that we normally use, which is the Letterman replica microphone, that's always on the table and it was on the desk the other day, that went missing in the turmoil yesterday.
It's still gone?
I'm not kidding. Yeah, it went. It's here somewhere. I don't think it went home with a worker or something, but it's literally one of those things where could that possibly be? So if this is catching you, I'm hoping that this will not be here forever. In fact, it's irritating the crap out of me as well, for so many reasons, including, you want your first show to be perfect.
No.
But actually, I'm thinking maybe
The other one?
the Johnny mic actually may be. You know what? This is calling an audible here, folks. Go to a wide shot. Calling an audible. Let's see if this will. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Mrs. Ryan?
It's lighter.
This is actually one of Johnny Carson's microphones from when he was in New York. And it's true story. This is not anything, but maybe it's a little lower.
That's a real one.
Yeah.
From forever ago.
Not wired up or anything, but that's a little better for today.
It looks better. It's not as distracting.
Suitable replacement. We will find the original. We have to because it means a lot.
Yeah, it's here.
But now it's pretty cool with Dave's desk and Johnny's mic. I have to say that's not the
Family
worst
photo.
combo in the world. All right. Can we bring in our friend here?
Yeah.
Are you cool with that?
I'm totally
I feel like
cool.
I'm speeding along here, so I want to just chill out into some conversation and get back into our normal life with the Ryans vibe, so it's not so showy,
Yeah.
So we'll bring in the stand-up comedian. All right. Well, let's bring him on in. Let's welcome Eddy Sato, since we're doing this. We'll figure all that out. There'll probably be music. We'll figure it out. I don't know. How's it going, man?
Very good. Very
It's
good
so
to meet
crazy.
you. This is amazing.
How does it feel?
It feels super honored to be a part of this, but I also feel that this shirt probably makes me look like Larry Bud Millman. David!
Well, maybe that's appropriate then.
By the way, my OCD, this shelf right here, this color-coordinated rainbow shelf of books is literally amazing.
Oh, nice.
It's all that guy.
Get out of alphabetizing. Color-coordinated bookshelf.
That's worth it.
I've never been able to do that. Well done.
Thanks, man. It's sort of the rainbow element there. I don't know. Just mid-century modern and plus.
Splash of color right over the shoulder. Oh, look at that. Oh,
Come on.
look at that sexy look. All right.
Yeah.
It's getting better. We're figuring it out
We
as
don't
we
mess
go.
around, man.
No, you
This
don't.
is legit.
All business. You can tell that about you.
I don't mess around.
No.
You've known me a long time.
I have known you
I
a
didn't
long
always
time.
address it the right way, but I don't mess around.
How long we know each other? Almost 20 years?
Is it that long?
When did you start RNC?
Here's the thing. You keep mentioning that. I don't remember working there.
What?
I think I met you when I was at Sony. I don't know if I ever actually worked there.
RNC.
Yeah.
That would be highly intriguing. I thought for sure we all knew each other.
Wouldn't it be funny if you guys don't know each other?
Wait, how do you know Alfred?
Wouldn't this be a great time to figure that out?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
who are you, lady?
who are you? I've known you.
Came for
20
Nicole,
years.
stayed for the
I have
set.
no idea. No, I feel like Alfred
We
always.
met at Audio C Video on Wilshire in the late 90s.
We might have. It might have been one of those weird LA things because if it was that long ago, I was super new and I had a bunch of different groups of friends from different internships over the years. And I am oblivious to most things, so I used to just invite everyone out.
That would be hysterical if that is
And I
actually-
feel like that's or I worked for a subsidiary company of Rogers and Cowan, and so we were in the same building.
Maybe.
But I have no idea, and I know you keep saying that, so I'm glad we're finally addressing it. I have no idea.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I know Alfred from BWR, but I feel like he thinks events prior to that, and I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
But I started at BWR in 02. It's not like it
Alright.
was
So we've known each other for a long
Like-
time.
2017 or something. It's a long time.
Yeah. It's good to see you again. I love what you guys are creating here.
Thanks, man.
What was the genesis of this? Or have you guys already talked about it in the show?
We have, but let's talk about it again.
Everything is going to be repeated. Everything, all the themes I feel like come up with every person.
Oh, yeah?
I think part of doing a daily show is that it's just, whatever you talk about that day. It's not like there is a catalog of these, I guess, on YouTube, but it's not like, watch the show where, you know what I mean? That goes back to the Letterman and Carson, like where you just crank them out, and then there are magical moments here and there that, will be awesome for a highlight reel someday.
Well, this is magic right here, just at Letterman, at the Letterman desk for me, yeah. I mean, I was way too young to be up that late, but always watch Johnny Carson and David Letterman. Like,
yep.
That's what he says too, and I feel like me.
Like obsessed. That was my childhood.
Yeah. Staying up late at even my grandmother's house and watching it. And I was like, that had to be like 9, 10 years old.
Yep.
Watching Carson stuff.
No, I'd stay all the way up.
I do both too.
I don't know if I'd make it all the way through Letterman, but I would definitely stay up through the monologue and the top 10 list.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Or whatever desk piece was going on that night. Same here, yeah.
That's kind of funny. It's like, raise your hand if you owned a shirt that, like, in college that had, like, top 10 things to do at Lehigh.
You just nailed it. Lehigh was, I think, maybe the one I had where it was, late night at Lehigh or something or other. It was like they were softball shirts and everything. Everyone had them.
Yep.
That's so funny with the logo and the whole bit. Well, let's talk about you, man. Thank you for being here. Oh, well, I should answer your... All right. I'll answer your question. Then I want to hear about you, being that you're in the guest chair and all. We both have a history in this business, as you know. Nicole got MS. That limited her availability to work in the industry. I was a producer, and I got sick actually about right around the same time, and it became, figure stuff out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Our life's going to be different, so we keep chasing the same thing, or do we figure it out? This is what I know how to do. Mm-hmm. We need to essentially work from home, and we have space for this. And it was like, well, everybody's got a damn podcast these days. We're pretty prevalent in the Porsche, or at least active in the Porsche industry, or the Porsche community, the Southern California car culture. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, do you have a podcast? Why don't you guys have a podcast? Like all the time at these events. So we did one just to kind of see, what the heck. And it wasn't like just as a test, not to even show. And we showed it to a couple of people, and it was like, well, wait, maybe we could do this. So we said, well, let's just commit and do it. And this is where it's gotten like 4 or 5 months later. You know what I mean? It was literally just a couple chairs at a table in our dining room, and now it's a full studio lit with the Letterman furniture and professional rigging and everything.
It's really cool.
So it's pretty nutty, but I would say the short answer is we need to work from home, and this is all I know how to do.
Oh. I like that. Okay, I like taking lemons and making, whatever lemon drop shots, whatever you guys have made. That's a good job.
That's what it's about. I mean, he basically... all the nuts and bolts are there, but I always speak in a more loving way of like, you let me do life in a really cool way, and you've made it possible. And in this museum that had all this stuff, and you touched base with them about one of our other shows. Like, I
wanted to see, I reached out to this museum a couple years ago to see if we could maybe, in a million years, maybe this was like a Hail Mary, maybe borrow this stuff for an event we wanted to do once. It was like, maybe, just maybe. And it turned out the event went a different direction. We ended up not needing it anyway. And it was like, that was the end of it. And I just kept contact with them. And when they were ready to get rid of it, they just said, hey, we're looking to, sorry to go down that whole thing. That's the story. People ask it all the time. I can't remember if I just said it now or if I said it 100 times yesterday. Sorry.
That's awesome. I kind of like the way you talk. I don't know if you noticed that I performed weddings, and like
I did not know.
Oh yeah, I've done like 7 weddings, and like just hearing you guys tell each other in that moment right there, that was really sweet. I felt like I was up on the altar again, going like, and do you say your vows? That's so cute.
You officiate weddings, or you perform at them?
Well, whatever.
Is it both?
It's a little bit of both, really. I mean, there's some legality, but there's definitely a performance involved.
Do you like doing weddings?
Oh, I love it. I love that kind of emotion and being part of people. I mean, that's like on the top 5 days of your life. Weddings that should be up there. Like,
hope so.
And being a part of that, because I mean, literally, it started with friends of mine who I was there when they met. An amazing story that'll eventually be a book someday. I was there when they met, and they asked me to marry them. Awesome. And then it escalated from there. People just started coming and going, hey, I heard you married so-and-so. Like, these two friends of mine, I was there when they met. They were doing, a band was doing rehearsals at the Forum when I used to run the Forum. They met there, and they asked me to marry them. It was awesome because they're both, like, she's 5'10", he's 6'5", and you could not
Did they used to
see
perform at the Forum? Are they basketball players?
No,
Like,
he's
used to play?
He's the head of security for a lot of bands, and she's...
Oh, of course. These are, of course,
Yeah.
people in your world,
But, like,
of course.
you could not see me, even though I made them step off the altar, and I was like, I'm here. There's a voice coming from behind these two people. Yeah, I did my, for my sisters, I just did my baby cousins in Colorado at a Harley dealership. Like, I'll the irreverent reverend, I'll go anywhere.
What's your, I'm going to ask it, what's your success rate?
So far, I'm 7 for 7.
0 for 1. She's 0 for 1.
You married a couple and they got divorced? Well.
Pretty quickly.
Real quick.
A year or two?
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
But were you standing there at the altar like, why am I here? This isn't gonna
No.
Like, did you get that vibe it maybe wasn't going to work?
I know more than I do about anyone else that struggles at the beginning to understand what emotions are. And I feel like they were in that phase. And I do genuinely feel like if they'd stuck it out and worked a little harder at it, they would not be divorced. But I think what they both figured out is that neither one of them wants to get married or be married.
Well,
So
it's an interesting time to figure it out after you get married.
yeah.
I've been divorced. It happens.
As long as there's not a restocking fee, you know what I mean? So just return it.
I still have the dress, and the shoes are my favorite, so I hope to maybe I should just throw them out.
I have like a go-to suit that I wear. It's like all black on black, but with a white tie. Oh yeah. Except on the one I just did, they asked me to wear a kilt, so I.
That's cool.
Kilt.
You kilted up?
And
yeah.
properly? Properly?
Totally.
Yeah, nice.
For
just
everyone
assumed.
out there, that means no undies, right?
Well, I don't ever call my undies.
I don't know what to call any of that stuff. Like, I hate the girl word, but it's like, who
Panties?
knows if boys wear...
You hate panties?
I hate that word. It's
Why
like,
is that? Why do women hate that?
It's like moist. It has the same connotation of like panties are
Now,
wet.
wait a second.
Okay,
People
but
go,
you just
why?
said your
Thank you
panties are
very
moist.
much.
I was
Yeah,
like, whoa,
both of us.
Marty.
It's gross. Panties are like what people in like Bachelor Party the movie wear and like Animal House.
Panties.
And so it's like
Panty
cutesy.
rain.
Like I want to get fine. Like it's fine and like they serve a purpose, but like they're not for everyday wear. And I think my generation got confused about how often you needed to wear nice cutesy undergarments.
As opposed to panties.
Yeah. And so, guys, y'all have had like an evolution of undergarmentry, and some people don't wear any. So it's like, it becomes a judgment that you don't want to make, being like, do you wear boxers or briefs or boxer briefs or whatever. So it's like, kilts have zippity doodah underneath them, as far as I know. So if
Just a gentle breeze.
underwear is the general, there's nothing under it.
It's funny, though, that you said the thing about moist, because literally I was sitting in my car yesterday. Yesterday was a buddy of mine's birthday, and his least favorite word is moist. And so
A dude.
Oh, yeah. So one year...
I'm just going to say that was imparted on him at an early age from a female.
Well, I eventually got him a hat that said moist across it. And then he went on to be a writer on American Dad. And so there's an episode where, like, somebody says something and they're like, it's a bad word. You got to put a coin in the jar or whatever. And he reaches up and there's, like, one curse word, then another curse word, and the last jar says moist.
That's really funny. I love it.
Really funny.
So I was thinking about this because I think it's ridiculous that people dislike a word so much, except there's one word that makes me like, when I hear it, I go, ugh, snug.
Ooh.
Snug.
Oh, yeah.
Snug is such a gross
It's a
word.
grandma word.
Why?
There's something about it like, oh, it's snug.
Oh, I've never heard it just as snuggy, like something snuggly.
No, like, yeah,
Was
when
this
you
the
say,
snuggie? Was that a garment?
Yes.
With a blanket,
Yeah.
half blanket, half
With a
shirt or
blanket
something?
with feet.
Okay, so it's not that.
yeah, it's snuggle, snuggy, those are cute, but snug. Oh, it's a snug fit. Ugh.
Ooh.
It typically
Right?
means
Say-
fits snugly. Something that's snug.
But if you say it the snug fit. It's just like snug. Like, it's.
You've gained weight.
Well, I don't know how you to say that.
Ouch.
That's
rude.
what that word
Really?
means
Too soon.
about garments. Or
It's just
snug in the junk area, which is a
so-
good thing, but still snug.
I did a routine once about dating this woman who one of the skeletons in her closet was that she had done porn to put herself through Cal State Northridge, and
Specific.
yeah, and
What class?
I don't know year. I think like 02, 04, something like that. But she, when she told me that, she had given like I mostly did girl on girl. I never did this. I never did that. I never did that. And so, of course, I'm pretty good at finding things on the internet, especially porn. And so I found her videos, and she had lied a little bit about the things she hadn't done. And I just remember going, I would not have expected that to be as snug as it was.
Whoa.
Because there were some things there was some graphic. There's some elasticity that, thank God for. That's all I'm saying. Over the years, it bounced back because. Yeah.
So is that the reason?
Well, I mean, I
Is
think
that just an example?
It was just like when I was doing the stand-up routine, trying to find the right word. I went snug.
That's a
I
word.
hate that word. But snug is the word for this. Yeah, snug. Kind of felt like tapping myself on the back because it was snug.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, we're like 15 minutes into your segment. We may as well tell people a little bit about you and who you are and what you do.
Oh, well, I'm Eddy Sato, jack of many trades.
Well, I know that when I Googled you, there were YouTube clips of tons of your stand-up all over the place, from the Ice House to Comedy Store, all the regular spots. So obviously...
So a few years ago, a friend had hit me up that she was asking questions about history of stand-up, and I responded. It was on Facebook, and it was a super long.
I told her to watch
response.
Punchline, obviously.
Obviously,
Like everybody.
And she went, "How do you know so much about stand-up?" And I was like, "It was like growing up, one of the things that I just always wanted to do, always wanted to be." And
Did you watch all the show? Where did you grow up, first of all?
I was born in L.A. At 10 years old. My mom moved us to Philadelphia. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
So raised on both coasts. The minute I turned 18, I moved back and went to USC, and I've never left. But the stand-up thing was...
Desire to network, huh? For the rest of your life.
I just...
No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like every USC person I know is all about USC and anybody who went there.
Oh, yeah, it's Trojan family, baby.
There you go. There you go. So there is, like
well,
the portion, there's a family, okay.
But even more
That's
so,
what
I was USC's homecoming king. So,
Come on.
yes, I still have the sash. I still do. Mr. USC, 1993, 94.
Oh, you and Alfred.
They're like, he's not even from here. Like, I was born here, bitches.
No, so I had done stand-up when I was in college. I opened for a friend at a Red Lion Inn in Modesto.
Good gig. Good gig.
I bombed horribly.
You don't say.
And I never got on stage again.
That was your first gig?
No, I'd done like some little stuff around coffee houses and stuff like that.
Okay, so
around
that's how you
campus,
got your
but it was,
guts up
It
and
was the
everything.
first time, like I'd done it at stand-up like in a workshop and things like that, and it was like my first paid gig. He was a writer at the time on, I can't remember if he was writing for Seinfeld at the time. He's one of the producers of Portlandia now. So it was a big deal.
Oh, we can't remember his name.
No,
I was trying to. I thought
I just drew a blank on his name.
you're like you covered so well, and I was like, here, let me just find out.
Dan Pasternack.
Oh,
like I
sure.
could picture his face. I couldn't. Yeah. So Dan has me open for him at this Red Lion in Modesto, and I'll tell the whole story. This is great. So there's this pre-conversation that we're having at his house before we leave, where I can't remember if Jerry was on speakerphone or something. Dan's like, "This is Eddy. He's performing stand-up for the first time, like paid professional tonight. Do you have any recommendations?" And Seinfeld's like, "First of all, don't eat anything heavy." Dietary tips from Jerry Seinfeld. That's a good thing. And it's like, eat a nice fruit salad. Don't have anything
Oh, I thought
heavy.
this was advice for your career in general.
Oh, no. This was, yeah.
For that night.
I'm just
I wish
kidding.
I would've
I'm
taken
just
that.
kidding.
No, but he, so don't eat anything heavy. And he said something else, and then he goes, and if you're feeling nervous, don't be afraid to, squeeze the mango. And I said, excuse me? He goes, choke the chicken, flog the dolphin. And I was like, did Jerry Seinfeld just tell me to jack off before performing stand-up? In essence, that it was. So we go up to Modesto. get ready.
This is on the speakerphone?
Yeah. This is back in the day. Like, yeah. So we go up to Modesto and
Just want to make sure I have all the facts right because I have a feeling this story may come back up in our lives.
Well, I go up and Dan had asked me, hey, what are you going to do with thing? And at that time I was doing stuff about how I think the jokes were my mom is a psychic, so it was jokes about like, growing up with a psychic mother and she knew everything, and then jokes about my brother. And my brother has lots of tattoos. The joke was like, if my brother wanted laser surgery to get rid of his tattoos, he'd have to use the Death Star. Like, just, early 20s jokes that, but he goes,
It's good. It's good.
I'm doing these bits about my mom being a psychic, and he goes, you know what, there's a lot of FOTs up here, a lot of fresh off the tractors in Modesto, and they may not get
You're trying to impress. You're writing for comedians.
Yeah, they're like, they may not get your new age jokes. You might want to start with some height jokes. I don't normally do height jokes. Definitely not then. I didn't have anything about it. So I go out and make this joke, and I don't feel it, and the audience doesn't feel it. And if you've ever done stand-up before, when there's no response, there's the unfortunate response where you just start talking fast. Get me off this stage fast where no one can hear what your jokes are. So I am bombing quickly. So it's one of those kind of shows.
It's almost a mental checklist. Yep, you got it.
Did that joke? It fail too? Oh yeah, get through there.
Well, this isn't going to work either. Let's get through it.
It's one of those shows where you introduce the next comedian. So I introduce him. He comes on stage, shake his hand, I whisper into his ear, I should have jerked off. And then kept walking off. And
now, this comedian had no idea because he was not
there. He was on.
Oh, it is the same guy. Oh, my God.
So he grabs the microphone and just perfect timing. Ladies and gentlemen, please give another round of applause for Eddy Sato, a man who should have jerked off.
Nailed it. Wow. Hashtag nailed it.
To this day, when we see each other, it's still Eddy Sato, a man who should have jerked off.
That's amazing.
It'll be on my tombstone.
Oh,
that's amazing.
So great.
So I do stand up, but it's like basically about 10 years ago, this friend had asked me how I knew so much about stand up, and I was telling her about how all the stand ups I grew up loving and respecting, and
who are some?
Oh, I am a Richard Pryor and George Carlin straight off the bat. Those two, love them. But I had said, I put it on my New Year's resolutions every year, get back on stage. And she goes, why haven't you? And I was like, well, I just need someone to kick me in the ass and make me do it. I mean, I don't know.
When you watch this back, I'm waving because I do that all the time.
Well, so she literally called me back half hour later and just on the phone was, I booked you at the Comedy Store next Saturday. Don't let me down. Be funny. And hung up.
I love her.
Like, what?
And the subtext there, of course, is you better fucking jerk off.
Totally. Well, and then the kicker is that so I call her back, get the details, and I had a bunch of shows because the other part of my life is I'm a production manager for Live Nation, and I've been that for years.
That's wow, you are left brain and right brain. Oh, holy crap. That's a whole nother show. I'd love to talk about. A whole different. Gee whiz.
But so I'm at this show, and we're in the production office, and it was at the Orpheum, and the production office there is an old, it's a dressing room with old theater mirrors, Nice. And I was just doing a routine to myself in the mirror, and one of my coworkers was like, "What are you doing?" And
Did you think you were alone?
No, I just you get into it sometimes. You're just focused on yourself in the mirror. At least I don't know. And they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm performing at the Comedy Store this weekend, and I'm trying to. I don't know what routine to do. Mm. There's routines about planes that I've had some shenanigans happen on planes, and everyone talks about planes. And I was like, and then there's another bit that's the dirtiest thing I've ever thought about, but I literally have wanted to do stand-up about it for the last 10 years. And they were like, do that routine. Show us that routine. And I'm like, with coworkers. There's like 3 other people in the room, and I'm like, all right. So I do the routine. It's a little embarrassing fact. And I do it, and they crying by the end of it. And they're like, you have to do that routine. And it occurred to me, and I was like, because I was just going to get up, get it out of my system, do stand-up one more time, say I'd done it, and bounce. And I wasn't inviting any of my friends. Next thing you know, I was like, you know what?
This is to get this out of you, right?
Yeah. And I was like, instead, you know what? If this is really to get this out of me, I'm I'm going to do the dirtiest, most unsafe routine I can think of, and I'm going to invite everyone I know, and killed. Like, for lack of a better term, I did really well, and so now it's become my thing. I still don't, like, really pursue it, like, go and, like, do it every night. And I'll do, like, once a week, 2 times a month or so. I'll just find, like, different guys that I know, and I'm like, hey, can I come hang out and do your show? And it's, like, it's great therapy for me. Like I have a thing that the routine I'm going to do next week, I'm probably going to get booed off the stage, but I want to do the bit so badly.
Next week you're doing it?
Yeah, I got to probably going to do Panchos on Monday.
Is that down near
Manhattan Beach?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a super fun show. It's so random. Like, Ali Wong will drop in and stuff like that, because it's just like...
I just watched her special. She's great.
I still haven't seen it. But, yeah, like, he gets some really great stand-ups that drop in and just kind of work new stuff out. Because it's such a, like, friendly vibe. It's in a bar, in a Mexican restaurant. It's
Holy shit, it's at Panchos right at Highland and Rosecrans.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Alex and James' place.
every Monday night.
When you were like Panchos, I'm like,
Carter.
where is there? What the fuck is that? And when restaurant bar, I used to go there. Well, I used to work in Manhattan Beach, but we used to go there like every Friday night.
So
It was
every
a
Monday
great place
is
to
a
hang
comedy
out.
store. There's a comedy show.
It's just in the bar where
in the
they have
bar.
the bands normally.
Yep.
No shit.
Every Monday night, and it kills.
Oh, we'll definitely go to that. Yeah, that's cool.
I can't wait.
Got to go to that
I'm
at
so
some
looking
point.
forward to it.
That's
So
fun.
good. Yeah. So yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there. So it's a good show.
Yeah. So I there's this thing that I've been ruminating about. It's all women and online dating. Yeah.
But those are your best stories. I mean, I know you were married at some point, but like I don't know her, I don't think. And I don't remember you being married. So I just remember dating stories, and you always had really fucking good ones, because dating out here is weird. And we were friends when I was single also. So like it's just a cornucopia of weird people.
So that's the part that's weird to me, is because when did you come out here? Or
Every summer from 98 to 2001, and then I lived here officially in 2001.
because I met my wife in 2001, essentially. So like it's funny because there's very few people who remember Married Eddy. Been divorced for 10 years now.
I used to love that show.
Married Eddy.
Oh my God, Married Eddy. It was a riot.
Oh, went for it.
One of the earlier Fox mid-seasons, I think.
Married Eddy was a Fox mid-season replacement. So good. I don't think my ex-wife would enjoy Married Eddy. That show probably wouldn't be.
I'm guessing she didn't, right?
Yeah, that was a show of
Or somebody.
her
I mean, there
being
was
quiet and
a
me
flaw
seething
somewhere.
in anger all the time. Oh, God. Her and I are best friends now. Like, we're great friends.
I see your posts. Like, it seems like you guys are the best of friends, which is why that all works out fine.
It's kind of cute. Whenever she has a boyfriend, I never hear from her. When she's single, we talk like twice a week. It's awesome. And like when I suddenly get a call, I'm like, haven't talked to you in like 6 months. Maybe you're newly single. How you doing? What's going on? How's your dude? Oh, okay. I was right. Yeah. It's nice. I think I'm gonna see her this summer.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I derailed that with Married Eddy joke, but
No, it's all good. But
Here-
like getting that when I was
Great.
saying like how we met and dating scene. Anyway, by the way, thanks for hooking me up with that one friend who, like, that's a specific story.
oh,
where,
nightmare!
Like,
I can't wait to hear this.
Oh,
It's your friend.
it's your friend.
What?
Kindergarten.
Come on!
Yeah, so she set us up to go on a date, and I thought it went great. Kim's beautiful, but
And
I
awesome.
just got this vibe.
Hi, Kimmy.
That like I wasn't sure whether at the end of the date whether it was like something I'd said, where she's like, nah, or if it's like you know when I hug somebody, there's a little bit of the arms up. You're like it's not like this. It's more of a I don't know. Yeah.
You never know. Dating's.
Are you saying because she's tall?
She's a little bit taller than me.
She's very tall.
No, my ex-wife was 5'9", so I just don't have that thing. I don't have the like.
It's not your thing. The
Yeah,
word that you worry about.
Yeah, I don't have like a oh she's too tall. I'll feel.
You don't have the Rockette scale, like you got to be between whatever the heck.
Yeah. I'm just like, hey, do I feel comfortable with you? Like that's cool. And I know some people like aren't comfortable with a shorter man, but somebody said basically here. So here's the routine that I'm gonna do on Monday. Here's what, and this is why I have a slight fear, and I'm still trying to find the wording to not get myself booed off the stage. But this woman said to me, Eddie, I could never date a man your size because I just wouldn't feel like a woman with you.
Oh,
Like,
whoa.
And because I'm, like, my first instinct is usually be an asshole, because I was like, I immediately went, oh, I get it. Like, I could probably barely get my arms around you. Like, oh, asshole. She didn't get what I was saying. Like, everyone else in the room was like, oh, and she just, bye. But then I started thinking, I was like, any woman who says that, like, because I'm shorter than you doesn't make you feel like a woman, they should kick you out of the march. They, like, literally should take your little knitted kitty cat beanie, pull it over your head, like...
I go the opposite. Put them on the front line. Let them get wiped out.
Project, I don't feel like a woman with a short man.
I can't believe you. I almost did the same thing, but I couldn't find what to call that.
Well, so
I went South Park, obviously.
So the joke that I'm working on is that the flip side of that would be, well, I could never feel like a man being with a woman who gets paid equal to me. Like, really? That's the correspond? No. See, that's where I think women are like, oh, like.
I like how you pull a grenade and chuck it.
Yeah, women are definitely. I think pitchforks and torches are coming at me on that one, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to word it.
I trust that you will. I don't think it's the meat of it's there, but the equal pay thing's tough.
Well, yeah, but so is like the discrimination, the heightism. I call it heightism. Which, by the way,
heightism's good.
I'm gonna throw this out because my first time that I ever met heightism. So in college, freshman year, middle of the semester, I realized I don't have the money to fly home, and I had done the long distance relationship. Girlfriend was going to Penn State. I wasn't gonna be able to get home.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sitting there, pretty bummed out.
Philly, Penn State. That's why you mentioned Lehigh. All right, got it all.
So I'm looking through the Daily Trojan, and sure enough, there is a little ad there back for sperm donation and how much money you can make. And I'm like, how have I not done this already? How am I not already involved in this program?
How am I not rich?
Years.
Yeah.
Should be swimming in Scrooge's money bin.
It's kind of like swimming in. Oh no. Hey, so I call there and I do a phone interview and it's going well. I was a Scholastic All-American in track.
You did a phone interview for the sperm bank?
Yeah. You should call up first. You want to,
Yeah, no, I'm glad you found comedy. That's ridiculous.
Scholastic. I was on a academic scholarship at USC. There's a lot of things going on there.
Smart swimmers.
Like, yeah. I had a lot going for me, I thought. And so did the guy on the other side of the phone line. And then literally, as he's saying, hey, well, come on down next Tuesday and we'll get you set up on a program, blah, blah, blah. I start to hang up the phone and all of a sudden I hear, Eddie. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I forgot to ask you one question.
Oh, no.
How tall are you?
Oh, no!
And I have an honesty policy. I'm pretty honest in life. But that right there, like your spidey sense goes off and goes, lie. Like, you should lie. So I go,
+2.
5'7". I went 5'7".
Is that +2?
That's +3.
Okay.
And he went, oh, Eddie, I'm so sorry. We don't take anyone under 5'9".
Under 5'9".
You knew this? The 5'9" thing? I lost
Seriously?
my shit. I mean, I literally was like, don't you think people want overachieving babies? Like, do you know how funny I am? Like, it is preternaturally little guy just be like, hey, you want this kid? I'm adorable. I'm an adorable baby. I'm an adorable adult. Like, don't
This works.
People, you know?
This works.
Yeah, 5'9". And I came up with the word, you're a heightist. And I hung up.
That's
Heightist.
a good word. I can't believe you used it on a sperm donation.
I feel like
Yeah.
that should be on the sign very early. Like that's
first
that's
thing.
let's just get through this. Like
There should be a thing at the door. Just so
if there are qualifiers,
exactly.
exactly, it should be in the ad for God's sake.
Yeah.
Under 5'9" need not apply.
Yep.
No shouties in the building.
I found that out the hard way. Couldn't even jerk off to get home. Which, by the way,
Now,
is
by the
another
way,
great story.
I was gonna say, now how are you supposed to do your comedy that night?
I ended up getting one of the greatest stories ever out because I took Greyhound home. 3.5 days on a bus.
Oh wow! You still could have jerked your way across country.
Brutal story, but made it home. And then she dumped me.
Oh man!
After
on
3
that
days
trip,
on a Greyhound?
on that trip,
we
was
got
it a different
home.
trip?
No, when I got home, it was just. So I get to her place. She lived on a house that backed up to a golf course. And literally my brother picks me up from the Greyhound station in Philadelphia at like 7 in the morning. And I am like, I'm going to drop my stuff at your house, and then I need you to drop me off at Sandy's house. And I swing by the house, and I grab my boombox, and I go full say anything.
Oh my
I
God.
am in your eyes with a radio standing behind her place. And I see the light come on in her window, and I'm freezing. I've been on a bus for 3.5 days, holding a radio, and I see the lights, and she's making her way through the house, door, and I kind of expected like this triumphant run to me and
Something.
like meet me. I've just come 2,500 miles on a bus. Come the next 100 yards. Give me a little run. Yeah. No.
2,500 miles on a bus. It didn't occur to me from fucking USC to Philly. Holy smokes.
The things that happen on that story.
I know. Forget it. 68 or less can suck it.
Let me tell you something.
You can keep it.
If you've never been in a holding pattern on a bus where it's just because there was a shooting at the Greyhound terminal in Oklahoma City, so the bus was just
let us off at the McDonald's, bro.
The guy's like, folks, you may have noticed that we're going in circles. You may not know this, but there is a strike going on with Greyhound buses drivers currently. So we're being driven by scab drivers.
I was just about to say, scab,
yeah.
scab.
Which definitely came in a couple times on that trip. But this particular driver was like, there's a shooting at the terminal, so we're just gonna hold here. We're gonna do some, we're not gonna...
Big band parliament.
Yeah. Let's do that. So anyway, I'm standing there, and she gets to the back door, and she gives me like she's in a robe. Like, okay, so just hold the radio next to me and walk up there, and we kiss. And that kiss should have been like,
Fireworks.
I waited 4 months to kiss you again. This is so beautiful. And she went, ooh, that felt weird. It felt weird. Well, that's not the reaction I wanted. And then
Really?
because I hadn't been able to shave in 3.5 days, she goes, oh, you look like a bum. So
I can't imagine you smelled good after 3
Yeah.
days on a bus, too.
things
Greyhound
went
bus.
rapidly downhill from there, and then she dumped me over the phone a week later on Valentine's Day. Actually, the day after Valentine's Day, because she knew how much I love Valentine's Day. She did it the day after.
So that you'd still get her something.
Oh, no. She just knew what the day was, because I kept calling her all day Valentine's Day, and she just wasn't taking my call. So the next day, she calls me at 7 in the morning, breaks up with me.
Come on.
And I'll never get this, because I actually had to wake up that day, and my alarm went off, and it was Steam's Kiss Him Goodbye.
Oh,
I
my
kid you not.
gosh.
You want to I believe that musically God sends me messages. And that was it literally was nah, 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 nah. Literally, I'm sitting there looking at this phone. My high school girlfriend's just dumped me, and it's hey, 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 goodbye.
Oh, my
The
God.
best was I picked the phone up, and I just called her back, and I was like, are you sure? She said, yeah. And I was like, all right. And then moved on. There you go. But yeah.
This is exceptional.
Yeah, these are Eddy Sato stories. They're just especially if you think something's gonna go good, I'll find a way. Life will find a way to boop,
Keeps you on your toes. That's what keeps you going, right?
I just I never anything I'm having really fun. I'm something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna break a toe or something, but I will definitely find a way to mess this up.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everybody, though, right? You just acknowledging it.
Oh no! I think
You go to another level.
Yeah, I go there was a time college weekender at ASU. Things were there was 2 young ladies and I was very good looking in college. I mean I was beautiful when I was your age, as I say. So
Totally.
I'm doing
For a
pretty
short
well
guy.
no, but I was 6'4" in college.
Good.
When
Fabulous.
Starbucks came out, I started drinking it. It just shrink you right down. That caffeine.
It's
Yeah.
the spinal compression. It happens.
I literally, that's that's the whole lead in for this, because I did that Ancestry.com thing.
Oh, boy.
And so here's the kicker. So it should have been 50% Japanese, 25% Italian, 25% German. It says, I'm an Axis power mutt. Every morning, don't conquer anyone. Anyway, so that's what it should have been. What came back was 50% Japanese. So, that society locked down. The Italians, shockingly, 38%. Those are just horny little guys just all over the continent. I'm 10% Germanic. All right. And then there was 1% English, whatever.
10% what was it?
German.
German.
And then 1% Swedish.
Come on.
Oh.
I'm a smidge tall. That's what I'm like. You don't
blonde.
like when women who are like, "Oh, you're short." I'm like, you don't know how this baby's gonna turn out. There's 1% of me that's like 6'4", blonde hair, blue eye.
Tell that
like
when
there's a little bit of tall, like maybe like a shoulder tall. Like there's that much. It's tall. Anyway, so where were we going?
when the world's ending and the Nazis are pounding on your door, make sure you can tell that 1%. I'm one of the 1%ers.
Got you, man. That's totally all right. So anyway, the long story short of this, what I was getting to, like how Eddy Sato stories get messed up is I was doing very well with both of these two young ladies. We were all as a group moving to another party. So there was a little bit of a scuffle about who was going to sit on my lap. And I was like, ladies, there's room for both.
Right. Why are we fighting?
So they both
Plus, take a number.
take a leg, we're in the car, and I reach and I shut the door. And the girl who's on this leg goes, baby, open the door. And I was like, what's up? And she leans back and shows me that her hand is still outside. I open the door and I have just... So like what could have been like, 19-year-old threesome thing. Nope.
Not happening.
She still wanted to go to this fraternity party that we're going to. Of course,
I
her
don't
hand
understand.
It's not looking good. And some like dreamy McDreamstein frat boy sees her and he's like, we should at least get some ice on that. He gets her an ice bag and then he's like, you know what, like the health center's right across the street. Like we should go over there. And I'm trying to be nice, so like, oh, I'll go with you. But literally I'm walking and I've suddenly become the third wheel. Like,
Oh, yeah.
dreamy frat boy and her are into the emergency room and I'm just sitting there like, well, I did it, but can I
McDreamy's
leave?
going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
You're the schlub who brought her to the party. Yeah.
I'm the one that broke the hand. Can I leave now? Like, how long do I have to stay here and just watch this happen as a penance? Yeah. So that's how Eddy Sato stories go. Like
That's brutal.
There's good, and then I'll break someone's hand.
I was
Like,
going to say, I'm assuming the hand was probably broken in the end, right?
Oh, it did not look good.
Yeah.
It did not look.
I'm assuming there was some libations going on already that killed some pain at them.
yeah.
Yeah. We've all got those drunken injury stories anyway from when I was younger. You know that. What are you doing now? Well, you said you were a production manager, and the reason this kind of triggers me a little bit is this is what I always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I came out here and I got into production because like, oh, that was the job. I could get a PA, and then like, oh, assistant coordinator, and then coordinator, and then I got sort of stuck in doing production and production managing and producing. It wasn't what I wanted to do. Is it what you want to do?
It's kind of funny you say that because it is not what I set out to do or wanted to do. I think it amuses me all the time because I lecture at USC in their music industry program, but I went to USC in their film program. So it kind of makes me laugh like even when I'm lecturing students, I'm just like, just as a reminder, this may be your path now.
Totally unqualified.
But your path may send you that way. No, like I wrote for a long time. Writing is my love. It's what my favorite thing to do. But production managing is one of those things where we just found out that it's something I'm good at.
Yeah.
And it did tie in. Like I will never forget. Little kid, first concert I ever begged for tickets for was Kiss at the Forum in 1979. I was 7 years old, and my mom took me. And I will never forget sitting there watching Kiss going, I will never be happy being part of the audience. Like, I have to be involved in something entertainment. Like, lack of charisma or whatever, I ended up a little further behind the stage than I wanted to. But, like, I had to be part of that. And it's funny because I was a production manager of the Forum from 2006 to 2013. And anytime I got a chance during the show, I'd go up and see who was sitting in my chair. Like in that seat. So if it was like a little kid, I'd always be like,
That's
hey, man,
so cool.
Well, the funny thing was one time was I told somebody that story and they were like, hey, let's go see who's in your seat. So we start walking over and it was like Black Sabbath at the Forum. and like the new setup of the Forum, all those seats are generally like VIPs. So we walk up and it's Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. And I turned to my friend and I was like, I think he's lived his dreams. Like I don't need to give him a pep talk. I think he's fine.
All good.
But no, so I when I first got to USC, these guys kind of took me under the wing and put me in the USC as a program board and programs entertainment, and I just became friends with them. And then after college, a couple years as a struggling screenwriter, One of my buddies was crew chief at the Wiltern, and he just hired me to load trucks. And then eventually I became a stagehand at the Wiltern. And then there's a funny story where I was working part-time as a stagehand at the Wiltern. I was working part-time at Rogers & Cowan as a media relations specialist.
Yeah.
And then I was, at that time, like writing, I wrote a couple spec scripts for a show called Angela Anaconda for Fox Family. And so
I remembered it was actually on the schedule right before Mary Eddy, I think, right? Pretty sure.
I would not say that's some of my prouder work.
Yeah,
like literally when my friend hired me for the gig, she's like, hey, by the way, just write scripts, and then here's what happens. We send it up to Canada to animate it, and they just change the scripts. They just change it at will.
Wow.
And so it's like, so what, like, even what we send up there doesn't always make it to the screen.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was like, this is the craziest.
The best job.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what happened was, so Friday, in June, Friday, I hand in my last script there, get my last check, you're done. Saturday night, we do a concert at the Wiltern, and in those days it was a fairly seasonal. It was like there were 6 weeks of no shows during the summer, so that was like no work for 6 weeks. And then on Monday, I went into Rogers & Cowan, and they laid off my whole department. Awesome. So I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm like, I don't know anyone else who's ever been like lost 3 jobs in 72 hours. Like that's got to be a little bit of a record. And I'm sitting there, and I am packing a bowl because I'm big. Like I've never gone to work drunk or on drugs or anything, but I have like very specific. I need a window of recovery, so I don't get that a lot. But when I do, I'm a party a little bit. So I'm literally packing this bowl, and someone calls me, and I tell them the story, like, "Hey, I've just been fired, 3 different jobs. I'm gonna get high. That's my afternoon.
Right.
And then I'm gonna go to unemployment tomorrow. That's my big plans for the
Reset.
summer.
Do a little reset.
And they said, well, before you do that, can you go down to Culver Studios? Stevie Nicks is down there rehearsing. They just need some bodies. So I go down there, and literally she had a bunch of like older roadies and she was trying to do a bunch of theatrical things. So when they were trying to hang things, I just kept going like, hey, not to step on any toes, but
there's a better way to do that.
Easier way to do that. And so at the end of the day, one of the guys was like, hey, kid, come back tomorrow. So I come back, and it's funny because I'm 29 years old. And he's like, hey, kid, come back tomorrow.
It's funny how you can't stifle your experience, though.
Yeah. So I go back, and he has a list of 10 things and went, how would you do these 10 things? And I answered all of them. And then he went, what are you doing for the next 6 weeks? Nothing. And I ended up being out on the road with Stevie for 3 months. And then once you've got road experience, when I came back, I immediately went from like stage crew chief at the Wiltern, and then started production. I production managed Michael Jackson's 45th birthday. Like I really went up the ladder quickly.
That's amazing.
Then started production manager at the Forum, but I've always done stuff for Live Nation. And then last year, a group of us who all kind of freelanced for Live Nation, our boss spun off from Live Nation. We created a subsidiary called Red Rock. And we do special events now. Like that's our primary.
Oh, okay.
thing. So movie premieres or series.
Oh, so when you're talking about events and stuff, that's with Red Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's through. I mean, we just did.
You did something with Chappelle, right? Like that run.
Yeah, there was the first tour of Oddball. So Chappelle and Flight of the Conchords, and yeah, that is still one of my favorite. Like, just talk about going to work every day and just enjoying, like, not only the crew that we were with that we're so happy, but the comedians coming into the office. You had Al Madrigal, you had Jeff Ross, you had Jim Jeffries, you had Hannibal Buress, you had Kristen, what's the woman from Fly the Conchords?
I know who you mean. I can see her face. I don't remember her name.
Hysterically funny. And then you had Dave and Jermaine and
his writers and like every comedic brilliant
but
genius.
just that group of stand-ups, and like hanging out in the production office before the show, and like not sometimes you get with a group of comedians, they're all trying to one up each other on jokes. Mm-hmm. This was just a group of guys who were just. Well, one, we had to keep Jeff Ross from getting everyone high before the show. And then it was just but it was just a bunch of guys who just really enjoyed being together. And we had this thing, and any show we had on Sunday, there was a couple of us on the crew who all are 49ers fan, and we found out Al Madrigal is. So we would set up an Al 49er chair for him.
Oh my
So
gosh.
he'd come in, the game would be on, and he would be like, "You guys are too much," and then we'd all just sit there and watch the Niners game for shows.
He'll say that you guys are too much, but meanwhile he'll totally sit
Yeah,
and then
and
take
he's
the
like-
seat.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that touring with Dave, I mean, that was his first comeback. There's some amazing stories from that sometimes when I see him now, I'm like,
Gotcha.
I love you. He's actually my whatever the home screen on my
For your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Dave and I backstage. It's just super cheesy.
How long were you working with him for that run?
I think the tour was like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was before his special?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was kind of upset because I still haven't seen them. and
You
I-
need to have a day off where you smoke your pot and recoup, and you
reset.
have a lot. You have a lot to watch and catch up on.
This is absolutely true. I need to catch up on a couple of different things.
But I'm gonna wave again and say you need to get back on
All right.
stand up
I
always.
am.
And I know you're doing Panchos, but
Yeah.
you're so funny, and your stories are so goddamn funny. They need to be told, and this is what I told you at lunch that time. Like, you need somewhere to voice all of your crazy stories because they're another level. They're like the hand. They're not just like, we had a bad date. It's like I shoved her hand in the door and broke it, and a jock took her away.
Yeah. That's how life things go with me.
Which is why it's great.
Well, I hope you've had a good time here. I hope you know that this is now a forum. Should you ever want to, hit the talk show circuit on the local level.
Awesome. I love it. I can't even like tell you. Like, I'm sitting in this chair. Like, I've always wondered what it'd be like to sit in that chair. Like, I'm literally like, did like Dr. Ruth Ginsburg sit in this
Yeah.
chair? Like,
We-
David, you know.
We looked up the list. I mean, from Don Rickles to Al Gore. I mean,
looked
it's
it up again,
crazy.
and I forget every
By the
time.
way, if you ever get a chance to meet Al Gore is awesome. We're doing this
Agreed.
event where it was Paramount's Upfronts, and so he was going to come out and talk about an inconvenient sequel. But before that, we were doing a thing showing some clips from Baywatch. And Al Gore is laughing hysterical.
Oh, the movie Baywatch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's laughing.
Zac
The Rock.
Efron. Zac Efron in The Rock. Yeah.
He's laughing hysterically at dick jokes. Like, and I literally turned. I was like, Vice President Gore, I'm gonna be awesome to watch movies with you. I was like, Caddyshack, and he goes, love it. Like,
Love
just
it. Love it.
Eddie, Caddyshack is one of my favorite shows. I would love to watch that movie.
Movie. You are very good.
I love
Yeah,
Al Gore.
that's good.
But
So
yeah,
do you do
thanks-
impressions too?
No, I mean, I do voices. Like,
Yeah, same
Like,
here. Okay.
He's one of the ones that sat in this chair.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
nerding out over it.
It is. It's a weird thing about that because we were talking about this the other day. Like, I mean, I don't give a shit about. It's like George Washington once slept here. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's not that. It's all of these people that were in there, but then photographed as well. I mean, it's an interesting thing when the chair stays put and all the people keep coming and going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The history.
The history.
Yeah.
Lots.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm glad you were here for
Well, thank you
our
very much for
shakedown
having me.
first show in the new set.
I love it. I love the new set. I hope that this works out for you. I'm like, I want to come back when I lose weight because that, like, I'm like, oof,
This guy.
Lennon might not have been the call. Like,
Lennon may not have been the call. Lennon was a bad choice.
I hear Lennon adds 50 pounds. That's rule of thumb. Like TV adds 10, Lennon adds another 40. I'm 50 pounds overweight because of this Lennon show. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Untuck It.
Well, like I said, hopefully you will be back anytime, whether you want to plug something like a show or if you just want to come hang out with us and do movie quotes and shit. We're cool with that too.
Love movie quotes. Thank you guys very much.
Nice, man. Mrs. Ryan, I love you so much. We love all of you at home. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow with a new set hoopla show, like the movies from the weekend and all the stuff that we haven't had a chance to catch up with from the week. And it'll wrap up our week too, because believe it or not, it'll be the end of our week already, which is blowing my mind.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that.
This
but-
one just erased completely. But thank you. We love everybody, and see you tomorrow.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's what. I'm so happy to see you and catch up. It just makes all this better.